Kart races are a massively fun time, bringing family and friends together for a casual or a fiercely competitive riot. They are the perfect genre for a get-together, for breaking the ice, or settling an argument kart to kart. We all know that the daddy of them all on the Nintendo Switch is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, what with it being the best-selling game on the system at the time of recording. But there are more kart races on the Nintendo Switch than just Mario, and today I, Jordan, and Juan and James are going to take a look at them. So, sorry my Italian plumber friend, you've had enough of the limelight for now. Let's take a look at all the kart races that we can think of on the Nintendo Switch that aren't Mario Kart 8. Ranked. Now, I don't own Hello Kitty Cruisers on the Nintendo Switch because I'm not daft. I'm actually insane and I own it on the Wii U. Now, I know that you're thinking that this must be bottom of the barrel shovelware cash grab awfulness. And you'd be correct. Obviously, we adults are not the target audience for this, and I'm sure the publisher would be scratching their heads at a grown gentleman such as myself actually playing it. Well, we have an audience to serve. While the Wii U and Switch versions may have some differences, I can't imagine them being game-changing. Hello Kitty Cruisers is rubbish, even for small children. I did initially plan on being more diplomatic with this one, but after playing the other kart races for this video, it really did awaken me to how utterly crap this is. Sluggish controls, boring items, glitchiness, slow gameplay. Don't buy this for your kid. Otherwise, social services will likely be called and your child will be taken away. This is one only for those who have committed their souls to collecting every Switch game released, and are no doubt regretting it. With only a dozen tracks and 2 handful of characters, plus some very questionable physics and content, the people who own the Hello Kitty franchise should be far more selective of who they hand out their license to. And yes, I did complete this one on the Wii U out of pure morbid curiosity and for a currently dormant project that I was working on at the time. It does not last long. You can literally do everything in this game within an hour, 100% completion. And because Nintendo doesn't have its own achievements trophy system in place, this isn't even a purchase for those trophy hunters. Stay away.
We were originally planning to review Nickelodeon races for the Switch when it released last year. We got it in for review purposes, as you may remember from our gameplay video that Jordan produced. But it was approximately 3.7 seconds into playing the game before he called me up and just said nope before hanging up and leaving it as a gameplay video. I mean, I know we have to review bad games sometimes, it's our duty, but playing too much of Nickelodeon kart races would probably have pushed the poor lad into retirement. It's not horrifically bad, it's just a very standard and bland experience, made cheaply to prey on young kids or nostalgia hounds who loved the cartoons growing up. Sometimes we enjoy reviewing bad games because it often provides us with a lot to say and perhaps leads to a humorous video. But when it's this plain and soulless, we had to let Jordan off the hook with this one. Our gameplay video and mini review had to do. If you're really that curious about it, check that video out. Despite Nickelodeon having a wealth of franchises to include, only 4 cartoon series made it into this release. Not only that, but they were poorly done so, lacking in any kind of personality, no voice acting, nothing. It was such a missed opportunity. Yes, it had a decent amount of tracks and an okay-ish amount of playtime, but not enough to take this out of being labelled a cash grab.
Beach Buggy Racing was one of the first kart racing games on the Nintendo Switch. Arriving in the Switch's first few months, it was pretty much the only alternative option to Mario Kart on the system at the time. Do you remember those early Switch days when eShop titles were coming in at a nice steady pace? It really is hard to keep up nowadays. Anyways, we reviewed Beach Buggy Racing early on in the channel's life, and we thought it was a nice little game considering the price point and the content offered, despite it showing its mobile origins a bit much at times and lacking in that little bit of polish. We did enjoy it a fair bit, and although it's on the lower end of this list, we still feel you'll get nice value for money if you do take a punt on it. It's less than a tenner for dozens of hours of cheap, cheerful content. Probably a nice one for parents on a budget who can't quite afford Mario Kart 8 at the moment. However, you can probably pick up that game on a sale if you look on eBay for a physical copy. It may also be worth noting that Beach Buggy Racing is the only game on our list that doesn't have a physical release, only available on the eShop, and we can't see that changing in the near future. As cheap and cheerful as it is, it doesn't seem likely to be chosen for any limited run or super rare games release anytime soon. Maybe the time now then to mention that all the other games do have a physical release. We'll pop an Amazon affiliate link in the description and in the comments section where you can visit our Amazon storefront. If you do purchase a game from there, we do get a little bit of commission, which of course helps the channel out.
I suspect that All-Star Fruit Racing represents one of the most overlooked kart races on the Switch, and I say that because I started production on the video editing here without actually including it. Yes, I forgot it, so the video was delayed a week while I procured a copy from the publisher P-Cube, who were nice enough to provide a code specifically for this video. All-Star Fruit Racing is a bit of a weird one. Mechanically, it's most certainly better than the games that came before in the list, but the major hurdle was the price point of $40 and a visual style that didn't exude a quality feeling. You have to say it's something that was trying to be above its station. Now, All-Star Fruit Racing isn't a bad game at all. In fact, it's in the top half of our list of ranked kart races for a reason. It's mechanically very sound and fun to play. I enjoyed trying it out for this video quite a lot. What sets this game apart from the others is its power-up gimmick. Yes, you can have your standard collect an item box to get a random weapon, but the game really shines when it decides to do its own thing. There are basically 4 colours of power-ups that you collect which can fill up their corresponding gauges. Each of them is mapped to one of the face buttons. Once you've filled up different colours, you can mix and match them to create other bigger weapons, or ones with an alternative use. It's not initially intuitive. Firing them off is mapped to the press of the right analog stick, which feels very uncomfortable with the Joy-Cons especially. But it's solidly made, mechanically very functional and surprisingly polished. Visual fidelity is not though, and I think this is what brings the game down a lot. Looking at screenshots, it's almost painfully colourful and sweet, but on the screen it's washed out, fuzzy, and has more pop in than should be acceptable. If you can find it for a cheaper price, say half of that of the original asking price, I would say it's a good option to have if you're into the genre.
One of the latest kart races to hit the Switch had a lot to live up to. Its predecessor, All-Star Racing Transformed, is often hailed as one of the best the genre has produced, and one that holds its own against the giant that is Mario Kart 8. How did this one turn out? Well, let's just say it's a bit of a step down. But then again, it was facing a massive uphill struggle to top what came before it. Instead of trying to ape the formula of its predecessors, Team Sonic Racing tried to go a slightly different route. Firstly, it ditched having a dozen Sega franchises to just really focus on the characters from Sonic the Hedgehog games. Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Big the Cat and so on. That in itself is a bit of a disappointment, but it does help make the world more believable as they all fit together. It also takes the interesting concept of cooperative racing, rather than individual racers trying to win. On the track, you and 2 other racers make up a team, and the team that performs best overall will take the prize. So if you 3 finish 2nd, 3rd and 4th, you will most likely take the win. It's about management and keeping an eye on how your team members are performing. You can share and request power-ups, and it's a fascinating concept. Plus it has a great adventure mode for single player content that puts Mario Kart to shame. It's a pity then that it doesn't quite come together perfectly despite having everything going for it. It's still a lot of fun and is certainly top tier when it comes to kart races on the Switch. Overall, it sounds like a very negative opinion on the game that's second in our list, but that's only because of how fantastic the last game was compared to this one. It's impossible not to feel a little disappointed despite it being well worth your time.
Now, in terms of Crash Team Racing, look, okay, we know guys, we felt the hate very clearly. You guys burned Jordan to a crisp, and maybe he deserved it just a little bit. Maybe he was overly harsh with his words regarding Crash Team Racing in his review a few days ago, but we've all had time to reflect on that and some of your comments, and even after the review, he personally still doesn't like the drifting too much, but it is clear that many of you guys love it, and in that regard, you regard it as the pinnacle of kart races out there. Well, that's what many of you felt. All the power to you and your godly skills. Jordan even admitted afterwards he should have been less matter of fact as he was. But that's the great thing, you know, we can all make a review with the emotion at the time, you know, and then look back on it, reflect, learn and get better for the future. Now that that's out the way, Crash Team Racing is a great game. He may have had some criticisms of it, but at the end of the day, that's his opinion. His lofty 8 out of 10 was still a good score, saying that it was a lot of fun and a very welcome addition to the kart racing roster on the Nintendo Switch, and actually, unlike what we assumed, it pretty much has parity with other consoles in terms of frame rate. Yes, we do still find it unbelievable that it's not 60 frames per second on the PS4, that's quite incredible. So really I don't think there's any reason not to get the Switch version with its fun adventure mode, lots of game modes and content. It is a great game despite our personal criticisms of it, and if you loved the original on the PlayStation 1, you'll absolutely love this. If you're new to it, you'll probably get a kick out of it too. Just be prepared to learn how to drift and to tackle the incredible cheekiness of the AI, who have godlike powers when it comes to winning. Something Jordan is still receiving therapy for. When it comes to kart races on the Nintendo Switch that aren't Mario Kart 8, we believe Crash Team Racing is pretty much the daddy. Not bad for a game that just released.
And there we have it, guys. These are all the kart races on the Nintendo Switch that we know of that aren't Mario Kart 8, in order of how good we think they are. Did we miss anything? Be sure to let us know in the comments below which of these ones is your favorites. And will you admit to owning Hello Kitty Cruisers? That's the important question here. Be sure to check out some of our other content on these games. On behalf of myself, Juan and James, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.